Hey everybody, good afternoon on this Tuesday, August 5th, 2025. I got all your stories for the rush hour ride home. We're going to dive into Blake Lively, of course, as she's now requesting a discovery from Justin Baldoni from his case against her that was dismissed. It's an absolute wild story. Plus, we have some crossfighting going on, as I believe now I am the subject of some pro-Blake Lively content creators, I guess, calling me out. We'll get into that. Some people like the back and forth of it all. I don't really like to share too much emotion when it comes to that because, A, it takes our eyes off of the actual story, and it's always just kind of messy. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Not always the case. I'm still a human, but we'll get into that. Plus Hulk Hogan. And then we've got the subpoenaing of Bill Clinton for the Epstein files. What does he know? And by the way, for those that are wondering, I say anyone who's on the list, anyone who did something nefarious or illegal, charge them with crimes. You know, they deserve their fair chance in a trial, but charge them with crimes. I don't care if you have a D or an R on your lapel. If you did something wrong, get them out of here is what I say. Then we've got Donald Trump's ballroom, construction for that ballroom set to be underway. Well, now he's on the roof of the White House in a very love it or list it style segment where I guess he's putting in a skylight maybe. I have no idea what he's doing up there. I'm sure it's not solar panels going on the roof. We'll get into all those stories and more. It starts right now on The Rush. And our first story is the Brooklyn Cyclones had a Elaine Bennis dance-off. Every year they do a dance-off to see who can dance the best like Elaine Bennis. This is your winner from 2023. And we actually have the winner who's, this is her TikTok Cheesy Show, who won in 2025. But again, you know, a very unique dance style. I mean, to be quite honest, if I tried to dance like Elaine Bennis, I'd probably break a leg or something. It's a very aggressive maneuvering that has to be done, of course, from the great, what's her name? Dreyfus? What's her name? You guys know who I'm talking about. What the hell's her? Was she better in Veep or Seinfeld? Either way, here's the winner right here. I mean, the crowd loved her. I mean, she looked really good. She had all the moves. She had the thumb going. And so congratulations there to the Elaine Bennis dance-off winner right there from Brooklyn Cyclones. And then from Brooklyn to Brooke Hogan. Here we have, again, Hulk Hogan passed away last week, and his daughter, Brooke Hogan, is talking to Bubba the Love Sponge. Now, Bubba the Love Sponge was a friend of Hulk Hogan's and was accused of being the man who leaked Hulk Hogan's sex tape. Now, this is a big story because Hulk Hogan's sex tape turned into a multi-$100 million lawsuit because it was revenge porn. You can't just be sharing people's things like that. But either way, Brooke Hogan calls in to make amends.
Things with my dad have bothered me, you know, because a lot of people don't know. Sorry, I don't want to cry. A lot of people don't.
I feel like I'm gonna cry because I always thought that you probably hated me for my involvement in what I did, and I always thought.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you. I want to tell you that I was down in my dad's gym. I was down in my dad's gym with him back when they set up the sting operation at the Sand Pearl. And him and David Houston got wired up because somebody was going to try to extort them for the tape. And my dad told me that he knew it wasn't you that leaked the tape. And I've been watching you take the heat for it, and I've been hearing you, you know, say sorry. And I know that, you know, you have a guilty conscience, but my dad told me the real story that, you know, it was your home files, you know, when you got divorced, that you ran down off your security footage thing when Heather had to get all of her stuff out of the house, and he said that somebody's, you know, one of your employees had it and that they took it from you, and he knew it wasn't you. I mean,
this is a wild story. And if you're not familiar, Hulk Hogan, there was literally private dealings to sell this sex tape, and there was lawsuits, and you know, a former friend who was in on the sex romp was accused of the one leaking it. Well, better late than never. Brooke Hogan, after the passing of her father, discusses this. Now, no one's claiming that Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea, is some perfect man. He was pretty much racist. He was, not a great guy, and is probably doesn't do it justice to say he was a product of his times. No, he was a dirtbag. He was a union buster. He was a lot of things. But for a lot of people out there, he was also like the guy they watched growing up. So you're going to see a lot of these conversations happen now after his passing, where people sort of deburden themselves, which again is normal for a normal family to do after the death of someone, but even more interesting when it's sort of a common denominator of a cultural icon, regardless of what you think of him. Well, not a cultural icon, but a female Texas cop is in trouble. She said, "I didn't get laid, so everyone is getting tickets." That's right. She made this TikTok where she literally typed on it, "Didn't get cracked last night, so everyone is getting a ticket." Now, she was then investigated for making that claim because you should not be giving speeding tickets based on whether or not you got cracked the night before. I also don't use crack as a term in my personal life, but I might start. I don't know. Getting cracked is, I don't know if, I'm blushing just thinking about it. I don't know if I got it in me. All right. So either way, the update today is the horny Texas cop, no sex, no summonses. She says, "I was only joking about the tickets." She was investigated for saying she would write everyone a ticket because she didn't get banged the night before. And now they're finding out she actually didn't write any tickets that day. So maybe the lack of sex calmed her down a little bit. What do I know? Either way, no correlation between her cracking and also her ticket writing. Although I'm sure there are plenty of cops who, have that correlation because they, people don't know how to control their emotions. All right, we're going to get into this Blake Lively stuff. I got 3 clips I'm going to share from TikTok lawyers that are offering their opinions on what the hell's going down. And there is a lot going down. We've got, on one hand, Blake Lively seeking discovery from Justin Baldoni's case, which was dismissed, basically saying, now that your case is dismissed, I need to know what you know. I want to make sure it's destroyed, deleted, all of that. And then we have a theory that Blake Lively's side wants to make Brian Friedman a witness in order to receive more information from him that would otherwise be attorney-client privilege. And then after that, we've got the pro-Blake Lively side kind of coming after me. We can handle it. We're a big boy over here. But let's have a listen to the different clips here. This is very, very fascinating stuff from Katie Inc. C.
Her claims, and they are panicking. Okay, so you know how Justin Baldoni filed that $400 million countersuit that has now since been dismissed? Well, overnight, Blake Lively filed a motion to compel saying that they never fully turned over all of those documents from their countersuit that they referenced and cited and annotated and all the jazz, right? And now she wants them.
So she goes into the different aspects of what Blake Lively is asking for. Some of it's crazy.
They're asking for the court to remove privilege on a group text between Brian Friedman and some of the defendants. And her argument is the same that she has been kind of arguing up until this point, that he wasn't actually being a lawyer. He was being their PR person. And this is where I think things get a little brave, as they go, just because Nathan and Abel were on the group text with Brian Friedman, they're saying that this served as Wayfair's defendant media strategy and destroyed any claim of attorney-client privilege.
So because there were PR people who also were part of the lawsuit, they weren't just random PR people, because they were in the group chat, they're like, no, you got to hand that stuff over.
With Heath, I cackled a little bit at this one. He didn't give the video of his wife giving birth. Like, he hasn't turned that over yet.
So that's what's interesting. Blake Lively was upset that she was shown the water birth video, and now she's saying she wants the water birth video. People in the comment sections are saying, look, he posted it on his Instagram. Like, what are you talking about? This is not a private thing. And by the way, it's not like it's filmed from between the ankles. It's a bird's eye view of a water birth. If you are in the process of having a baby or shooting a movie where you need to deliver a baby, you might watch videos of people giving birth. It's a beautiful thing. It shouldn't be something that's gross, that people are grossed out by. And either way, Blake Lively, I guess, wants it to jog her memory.
It honestly looks like she doesn't have what she needs. And I don't know. They're going back to a dismissed case that they're probably going to have a very hard time fighting to get. I don't know. Maybe not. I need that's why I've been waiting all morning for somebody smarter than me to go over this, but nobody else is coming in. So I'm going to ask my questions, and my questions are, are they allowed to go and actually go back and say, I know your case is dismissed, but we need all the discovery from that? Like, I don't think that's, but then I don't know because they're all of those cases are so intermixed.
Yeah. So it's Blake Lively trying to get more information about what the other side has, trying to find out if they can have anything that's going to help their case, which again, very normal to want to win your case. But again, as an audience, we're allowed to also see this as it being what it is, which is a little desperate.
Do I think the judge needed the whole transcript for the small portion they were quoting? No.
So now we've got Attorney McCaffrey discussing Blake trying to get the transcript of the deposition removed. They included it as an exhibit, even though it was, sealed or whatever. They included it as an exhibit to reference something they were mentioning. But again, it's very normal for that to happen.
Do I and other lawyers I routinely am against just file the whole deposition transcript if I'm using it as an exhibit in a motion? Yes. I think I referenced that motion for summary judgment that I was working on.
So she says it's very common to attach the deposition. It's not a big deal. You do the deposition knowing it's probably going to get out anyway, but Blake Lively's side is going to do what they can do to not let it out. And I understand that. So now we have a little girl attorney offering her opinion that Blake Lively has dirty tactics that she's using to come after Justin Baldoni's attorney.
Abe is trying to do is make Brian Friedman into a fact witness in this case. If he is a fact witness in this case, then discovery is relevant to support Lively's claims. So the judge will have to weigh whether or not Friedman being a potential fact witness in this case outweighs the potential risk of producing work product or privileged information.
Yeah, so it'll be, again, the judge is the umpire. He calls balls and strikes. He tells you how big the strike zone is. So we'll see what Blake Lively is allowed to get away with regard to how this all goes down. Plenty of people believe the judge is siding more with her than with him. And again, we'll have to see what steps come next as far as what the judge approves. The judge just approved, for the most part, Justin Baldoni's attempt to quash motion for subpoenas by Blake Lively's side. So you could call that a win for Wayfarer's side. So again, it's a long marathon. And it's not a 100% one side versus 100% the other side. But what I found interesting was, and I'm totally avoiding beefs with other content creators. I think that's silly. I actually responded, which I thought was in good faith. I think they're trying to dunk on me now. But Ex-Patriarch is somebody who is clearly a pro Blake Lively account. I actually didn't know if they were real just because their photo looks kind of AI generated. And again, I'm sure they are. I'm not trying to discredit them whatsoever, but they said when Lively asked for the PGA credit, Heath reached out to her against her wishes and told her, "You are incredible. I hope you get all the glory you deserve. You have certainly added a great deal to the movie beyond the acting role itself." And then he said, "These people are so two-faced." My response was, and again, I'm just being honest, I would have said the same thing. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I always try and give people the benefit of the doubt that they are trying their best with the information they have, and I feel that way about you and everyone else, no matter their side. Cheers. And I truly mean that. I truly mean that I do believe everyone's trying their best. There's this idea that, no, everyone's paid off or you're following the money or this or that. And I don't think so. I mean, there is confirmation bias. There is audience capture. There are things that happen where you will tend to go in one direction because you were pushed in that direction, or that's the direction that the carrot stick is, so you follow it. I admit that does happen, absolutely. So someone said, "Do you lie to employees a lot?" I feel that's uncool. And then I said, if it meant getting to the finish line of a multi-million-dollar project and that's the sole person who could hold it up, hell yeah. So if Heath feels as though Blake Lively is a sort of manic and has the ability to stop this production and make crazy claims, if they believe they're on the right side of this and they're innocent and Blake Lively could hold it up, absolutely fluff them up. I mean, she's the lead actress. Do you know how many times you have to placate somebody in Hollywood to get them in the right mood to make a deal or whatnot? So absolutely. That's my honest opinion. It's like, does that make you a liar? No, I think in this case, if he has to sweet talk Blake to make sure she shows up to set or make sure she promotes the movie or does all these things, absolutely. That's why Hollywood actors become so delusional, because so many people talk to them in a way because they're trying to get something out of them. That's just the reality we live in. So anyway, that's where and again, that received a considerable amount of hate, obviously. Well, Ex-Patriarch responded and said, there's literally nothing about your content or approach to Blake Lively that speaks to benefit of the doubt, being a fundamental principle you observe. Genuinely, Dave, we all wish you were the person you believe yourself to be. And then he shared screen grabs of my content and all of that. I think I responded from there and I said, all good. That's the beauty of the internet. We put our opinions out there and people can judge and interpret them as they see fit. I absolutely treated this case like any other. I went into it with an open mind and then formed an opinion based on the information I saw. Cheers. And the truth to that is, like take the Candace Owens story, right? There is a multi-million subscriber ecosystem that wants me to be on Candace Owens' side. And I watched her documentary. I kept an open mind, and I went with my practical intuition, which is the opinion that I came up with, and I'll lose followers for it and whatnot. This happens too when I cover Bachelor Nation content, if I go against the grain. I like to think of myself as a free thinker in that way, but don't take my word for it. Look at my audience and the people that stick around. Now, sure, there will be people who don't like my opinions and they might feel triggered by my politics and they want to leave, but the idea that I follow the money because it is convenient to me, I just reject that. I think I generate my audience because they have faith that I'm giving them my honest opinion. So while I do think Heath might talk to Blake Lively in a way that'll get the project to the finish line for me when I make my content is truth, it's authenticity, it is to not lie to my audience. It is the same sort of truth when it comes to stand-up comedy. Now, you might, quote unquote, lie within a joke. Oh, this happened yesterday. No, it didn't. It happened 3 years ago. You might lie within a joke, but the truth in comedy is sharing your feelings about something, how something makes you feel, and ranting on that or developing punchlines around that. It is that authenticity that gets us away from the a filtered version of social media that people are sick of, and gets people to watch a rambler like me because they at least trust that I'm giving you my honest opinion. And my honest opinion about Ex-Patriarch is I don't really follow his content at all. I don't really use Twitter much. For those that check me out on the Patreon only live streams, you get to see I dive into it because content shared there for business purposes, but it's not my thing. I might make a couple comments back and forth. Do I have a bunch of thumbnails that are now believing Justin Baldoni is the victim of Blake Lively? Absolutely. But I got to that place based on the formula that I think works to have critical thinking skills. I don't know who Ex-Patriarch is. I'm Dave Neal, right? My legal birth name is David Neal. I am honest with my audience, and if anyone wants to accuse me of being anything but that, I can't really defend myself other than say, let the proof be in the pudding of this amazing group of people that we have here that have continued to support the channel. So there's but I still believe Ex-Patriarch is doing the right thing. But I also see the tactics that are used. Genuinely, Dave, we all wish you were the person you believe yourself to be. I just read that as the most smug, condescending, righteous place. Now, commenters will say, Ex-Patriarch, what are you talking about? You're the same thing. You're the projection that you're putting onto Dave. You're the type who doubles down on this evidence. And then when the evidence doesn't show up, there's no retraction, right? You just move on to the next thing. Again, we'll see how it all plays out. If evidence comes out, as I've said, literally all along, if evidence comes out that Blake Lively is the victim, and there's ring cam footage of Baldoni, assaulting or harassing, or any of that whatsoever comes out that changes my opinion, I will be the first one here to talk about it and move in that direction, because that's all we have here is our opinion, and that's why people check me out. So anyway, coming up next, we've got Jeffrey Epstein. It is getting juicy as the Clintons have been subpoenaed. That story next.